Hey guys, welcome back to the Doug and Racecraft YouTube channel. On this episode, we start doing front brake stuff. Alright everyone, we're going to start this video off in the lower garage of the house with the parts car Mustang. This car is really nothing special, just a 97 V6 car. Mainly bought it for the brake stuff, for the GT 5-lug stuff, as you know. I wasn't really going to do a whole lot of footage on this just because I didn't want to bore you guys with it, but this was too good to pass up. I hope to God this is a temporary deal, because we got like a 1/4-inch carriage bolt here that's not even going through the spindle. The spindle's still just hanging free. This is tight, don't get me wrong, but that ain't gonna hold nothing. All right, everyone, she gave up the goods. After doing a little bit of investigative journalism on this side of the car, I've come to the conclusion that somebody went, insert generic Mustang joke here, hitting crowd. That strut, as you can see there, goes and straight up. That's not good. That's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be straight. My guy says somebody hit a curb because this wheel's got a sick ass crack right there, as you can see. Somebody probably jumped a curb with the old girl. I was wondering why this tire didn't hold air. That would be why. Hey there, you guys. We're back in the upper garage. Got the goods that came off the V6 parts car right yonder. I'm gonna show you how good a shape they're in. They're in meh shape for the most part. I'll just show you how they are. The rotors are thrashed. I kind of figured it depends upon how long the car's been sitting, whether or not the rotors are going to be good. You should replace the rotors and pads anyways, especially if you're going to be doing it in like a hot rod, if you want to call it. Calipers are all free from what I can tell. The back ones fought me a little bit trying to get them to go back in. Got all the brackets off the back, got the axles. For now, we're going to focus on the front stuff. So we're going to get the calipers and brackets off the spindles, take the rotors off, obviously, throw them the fuck away. Probably wire wheel it first to get a lot of this rough stuff off. And then we'll paint it, protect it, whatever we got to do. We got new rotors and pads. Not sponsored by Brake Best. I just get the best deal at O'Reilly's because I got pals in low places. We're also going to do the ball joints. I did that one off camera so you guys didn't make fun of me trying to figure out how to work this ball joint press that I got, Harbor Freight Special. It actually came out pretty easy. I got the good old pneumatic impact, whatever you want to call that. So we'll get the camera set up. We're going to take apart the other stuff first, and then we're going to show you how to do some ball joints, for those of you that don't know. Okay guys, so as you saw, we got the old ball joint pressed out. The way I achieved that was using this cup along with this sleeve on the back side here. The ball joint fits perfectly inside of that when it's not covered in grease. Put the tool on here. Put the tool on here like this so that the back side of the press here presses against the back side of the ball joint. This ring here pushes on the top side of the ball joint, pushing it back through the control arm and out of the control arm. So the way we're going to put it back in is just the opposite. What I did already off camera was use my carbide burr on the backside of the journal here, whatever you'd like to call that, the register. Just to put a little bit of a chamfer on it because I had a problem doing the other side, pressing it back in because I couldn't get it started and it wanted to keep cocking one way or another and it just wouldn't go in straight. So the way we're going to press it back in, I'm just going to set it here so I can show you guys. We're going to use this cup here, press it on the back side so it doesn't dimple this in, because it'll push that in when you try and push this ball joint back in. You have to push it from the back side in up until it gets to this lip right here. There's the knurls that actually hold it in that register. You use the flat spot of it here, pressing on the back there. Use this cup again on the other side, along with the open-ended, so that the actual threads of the ball joint will press through the other side. So we'll put that on time loop and we'll show you guys how it goes. Okay there everyone, got the ball joints finished up. As you can see, got the nice little boots on there and her little new nut. Got the Zerk back in, got the controller arm touched up, painted up. The other one's over there thinking about what it did. Next, we're going to start working on the calipers, the front suspension stuff. All right, guys, it's the next day. We got everything painted. We started putting the passenger side together. Got all the nice new stuff. Those struts are gonna get replaced, so don't worry about that. They're obviously kind of crusty, but that's okay. Repainted the lower control arms, got the ball joints in, as you guys already saw. Spindles painted, rotor on, springs painted. These are the stock springs. Cut one link off. That seems to be the Matic number for these to get a 17-inch wheel to fit pretty good. One thing to note, if you do plan on doing SN95 or New Edge spindles with Fox body struts, as you can see there, that's like a 3/16" gap. The spindle for a New Edge is thinner than the spindle for a Fox body for whatever reason. One thing that happened with this one that did not happen with my dad's car is the spacing for these two holes here. The spacing for the two holes on the strut were wider apart than they were for the spacing for the spindle. Not sure if it's the way I put the spindle on this time. It could have just looked like it was off, but it looked like it was 1/16 to 1/8 off. I couldn't get the other bolt to go through. So I used the die grinder, oblonged this hole a little bit, wallered her out, as some may say. She fits like a glove now, besides fitting like a saddle on a sow. Eventually, I will do the Cobra brake upgrade. These are 11-inch rotors. I want to say the Cobras are 13s. I could be wrong. I did misspeak in a previous video. I did say that the spindles you couldn't buy anywhere besides used. I was wrong. You can buy them on LMR, but they come in the Cobra kit, Cobra brake kit. It's the hoses, both rotors, the calipers, and the spindles for, I want to say, $500 or $600. I think the kit with the spindles was $650 or something like that. I would recommend one thing though. LMR is usually pretty overpriced on their stuff. I like buying their stuff just because it usually fits the best. One thing I would not buy from LMR is their Cobra brake kit. Their $500 kit comes with rotors, calipers, and the brake hoses, I want to say. That's $500. From Rock Auto, you can get the same thing for, I want to say it's $250, and that's with the core charge. So obviously about half the price, and then if you do end up sending the old cores back, it's, I want to say it's like $170 or $180 or something like that. Definitely a better deal to go with Rock Auto. They're both reproduction calipers to begin with, so it's not like you're getting the actual Cobra calipers from LMR. It's just the same thing from what I can tell, just more expensive. So now we're going to move on to the other side. I'm going to take you guys with me. I'm going to put you on the tripod for that one. We will also be installing the calipers. Got the calipers loaded up. You end up reusing the old hardware. It was fine. It seems like somebody put pads on this not too long ago. These pads are very odd. The calipers just slide off the brackets. You don't have to take these pins out. They're just pins. There's not actual heads on them, besides the inverted Torx and the female Torx. This caliper will just slide off. I'm not going to do it because it's hard to get these boots back on. But that's, I'm assuming, to do pads in the car, you have to take the whole bracket off, which is kind of annoying. Every other Mustang I've ever seen besides the Mustang 2, it bolts on. So just one thing to keep in mind. The brakes we used for my dad's car were not like this. They were just normal 2-piston V6 calipers. They were from a 2001 V6, I want to say. These are from a 97, so it's probably why. So let's get you on the tripod and let's get into it. All right, guys. Got the spindle on the control arm already. Control arm's just loosely bolted in for now. We'll tighten it up once we have the suspension at ride height. First thing I'm gonna recommend you do is tighten this nut down, because once the strut's in, you can't get a socket on it and you have to do it by wrench. It's kind of a pain in the ass. More of a pain in the ass than I'm gonna deal with. So once you got the spindle on here, bolt it down tight. Get your spring, whatever your flavor is. So put the top of the spring in the upper pocket first is what I do. And get it into the recess. There's the spring pocket here. Get it up and over the lip to go on the back side of the spring pocket, and then you can start jacking the control arm up. Make sure you unscrew the zerk for the lower control, or for the lower ball joint, or else you will break that off. You're gonna have a bad time. It's also coming back apart and you have to do it over again. So jack her up. Be careful, because that spring can come popping out this way if it's under a lot of tension, whatever. Just hypersensitive, probably would never happen, but better to be safe than sorry, I found. Okay, so this is the problem with doing this with the engine out of the car, because there's not enough weight on the front end of the car to get the suspension, to get the spring compressed enough to get the strut on and then get it up into the pocket. So we're gonna have to get a little creative. So another thing you want to check is down in here, there's a indent for where the coil spring will come down into the pocket. It's about right here. Make sure the end of the coil spring will sit in that pocket, because if it's sitting up in there, that's going to fight you even harder to get the strut in without weight on the front end. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to have lower isolators on it, but I don't run isolators because mama didn't raise no bitch. Okay, so now take your raggedy ass old strut and you will first put it up in the pocket. Put it up through the holes. I'll put one nut on it just so it'll stay up here on its own. And then, oh, there we go, look at that. That's perfect. Not really sure what's causing this, but if you can see, that hole there is pretty well lined up. That one's about a 1/16, 2/8 off. All I'm gonna do is take the die grinder in here, bring this hole up a little bit. So then this one, because there's not a lot of material here on the bottom to do that, and I don't want to have it just hanging there by a string, even though the force is going up. Not that it would ever break that, but just something I don't really want to deal with. So all I'm going to do, take the strut back off, wallow this hole out, put it back in. All right, bam! Got the strut back in, got this whole little wallered out a little bit. She fits fucking mint. Like I said, gonna be getting new struts, not really worried about this. If you notice when you go to order coilovers, especially if they say they're for a 79 to 04, they come with two little plates about that long, 2 holes in it. That's what these are for, so that they can say it'll work for a 79 to 04, so that you don't run into this problem. As you can see, I started messing around with the front grille and the air dam a little bit. Got it cleaned up. Got the grille and headlight bezels painted black like I wanted to. Got the wheel on. Obviously, one wheel's out, one wheel's in. We don't have the rack back yet. I ordered a rack. Should be in tomorrow. In the next episode, we're going to put the dash back in. Get the interior button back up so the interior is not full of stuff just sitting in there anymore. I'm getting pretty annoyed with that. We're going to finish working on getting the smell out of it. A lot of the smell is gone. There's still a little bit of lingering scent, though. Going to have to get that taken care of, obviously. We're still making really good progress. It's finally warmed back up here in Iowa. I got the wood-burning stove going over here. She's nice and toasty. And then I got the propane heater going just to get it warmed up before the wood burner can catch up. Weather's starting to look pretty good in Iowa, so it shouldn't be an issue getting up here anymore. But we're getting a lot done. I'm pretty happy with the progress that we made in this episode. These wheels are definitely gonna have to get cleaned up. They're the more and more I look at them, the worse and worse they are. Like, it's got super bad fisheyeing right there. Really bad standing scratches. Is just whoever did this didn't really do a good job. Didn't really take the time to do it right. Obviously, that front air dam and grill is not sitting on there right. I just threw it back on just so it wasn't sitting on a sawhorse anymore. Make sure if you guys did like this video, you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, you got a lot of good content coming up for this car in the not so distant future. We did find a little bit of rust in the driver's side door, nothing terrible. Not sure how I'm going to go about fixing it yet. Right where the belt molding was. This is pretty common for a Fox body. Right where the belt molding was, started to rot through a little bit. A lot of dirt gets in behind here and sits and just eats and eats and eats at the doors. The problem that I'm going to foresee here is I'm pretty sure you can buy the bottom part of the skin here for the door. That's not that much trouble. The problem is this has rock guard on it. And I don't really want to spray rock guard, so the one way you could go about doing it is, it looks like the rust stops right about here, so cut this part out and replace only this part, but I don't really want to try and do that. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see how that goes. It's just something to think about. So this car may get painted a lot sooner than I thought it was going to. It might end up getting done this summer yet. It's a pretty straight car, so it's not going to need a ton of body work. Just a few dings, some scratches, chips here and there, so realistically, you could get it painted in a week probably. But that's going to do it for this episode, you guys. Y'all take care now.